Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Exercise 1b of chapter 1. Our main objective will be how can we multiply the fractions. This will be our main objective. So let's see what are the steps that we have to follow when we want to multiply the fractions. So here this side of the slide is showing you the steps that we are going to use. So remember, whenever we have two fractions to multiply, for example, if you have 2/3 times, let's say 1/3, right? So what are you going to do? In the first step, you will multiply the numerator with the numerator and then denominator with the denominator, because it's a very simple example. So let me show you. Let's say like you are going to multiply it, you can say straight from left to right. So 2 is going to be multiplied with 1, numerator with the numerator, so it will give us 2. Then the denominator is going to be multiplied with the denominator, so 3 times 3 will give us 9. So this is okay. Then when we get the answer, we have to think about our answer, that if it will become an improper fraction, we will divide it to change it into a mixed number. But let's say if it will not be, let's say if it would be possible to reduce that fraction, then we will reduce it. Okay, then there is another thing that is very important. And what is that point? The point is, let's say if you are multiplying the mixed numbers together, right? So your first step will be to change that mixed number into an improper fraction before multiplying or before dividing. Let me give you some more examples and then we will start the questions from the exercise. So as you can see here, I have taken two examples. This one, it says I'm talking about this example. This is example number 1, let's say. So 2/5 times 6/7, right? So what are we going to do? We are going to multiply the numerator with the numerator, as I have done here. 2 times 6 will give us 12. Then I'm gonna multiply the denominator with the denominator, as you can see here. So 5 times 7 will give us 35. When I look at this answer, I have to think about any number that could divide 12 and 35. When I think about such a number, I couldn't find, except let's say only 1 is the number that could divide 12 and 35, right? So this shows that this fraction is already in the simplest form. So this is going to be our final answer, right? Now let's look at the second example. This is the second example. It says 1/4 times 2/3. Again, you are going to multiply the numerator with the numerator. So 2 times 2 will give us 2, and 4 times 3 will give us 4 times 3 will give us 12. Now when I look at this fraction, there is a number that could divide both 2 and 12. This shows that this fraction could be reduced more, right? It could be reduced further. So what will you do? You are going to divide the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2. For doing such steps, you have to be very good in multiplication tables, right? So if 2 divided by 2, it will reduce to 1, and 12 divided by 2 will reduce to 6. So this will be our final answer. This is our final answer, right? So it's our, you can say it becomes mandatory for us, like if a fraction could be reduced, then reduce that fraction. Okay, let's go to example number 3. Now here, why I cannot start the multiplication directly, because this is a mixed number and this one is also a mixed number. And how do we change the mixed numbers into improper fractions? I have mentioned here. So first you have to multiply this 4 with the 1 and then add 3 into it, and 3 is added. So finally we are getting 7. So this fraction will change into 7 out of 4, or 7/4. Again, same here. Multiply 2 by 2 and then add 1 into it, and finally you will get 5. So this one will become 5 out of 2, right? Again, same steps. Multiply 7 with the 5, it will give us 35. 5 times 2 is 8. Now my answer is becoming an improper fraction, right? So we have to follow the rule that, if you remember, I told you a short word, nido. Nido means you have to bring the numerator inside this. Here 35 will be written inside and this 8 will be written outside, and then we will read the multiplication table of 8, that how many times can 8 can give me a number that is very close to 35. So 8 times 4 is 32, so remainder is 3. Now how can you write the answer? The quotient, it becomes our whole number. You can say you have to start from here and end over here. So 4 will become the whole number and 3 out of 8, this will be our final answer, right? Hope you understand all the ideas. By the way, quickly let me explain you one more thing. Some of the girls who are very good at multiplication times tables, they can simplify the fractions if they know that any number can simplify a number in the numerator and the denominator, right? Like here 2 and 4, they both are in the multiplication table of 2. So this shows that if you divide 2 by 2, it will give you 1, and if you divide 4 by 2, it will give you 2. Now finally, because the simplification is done, so you can multiply the numerator with the numerator, it will give you 1, and 2 times 3 will give you 6. So the same question, I'm talking about example number 2. Same example number 2, if you are good in you can say simplifying, or you are good at multiplication times tables, you can simplify them before. Here you simplified by the end, here you simplified in the beginning. Both methods are correct. The one that is easy for you, you can go with that method. Let me solve some questions from the exercise now. This question 7 from the exercise. So first of all, think that can I start the multiplication? So the answer is no. Why? Because you have a mixed number over here. So better change this mixed number first of all into an improper fraction. So how do we change it? First we multiply these two. So 7 times 1 will be 7, and then in the answer we add this 3. So 3 is going to be in it, 3 is going to be added in it, so it will become 10. So this fraction will change into 10 out of 7, and on this side we have 2 out of 5. Now if a girl, she wants to simplify it here, she can do it. Look at this, 5 and 10 both are in the times table of 5. She can simplify it here, right? I will explain you with both ways. Okay, so let's say if I'm doing it with method 1, in which you do not simplify it in the beginning, how it will look like? First you will multiply 10 times 2 is 20, and then 7 times 5 is 35. Now because both the numbers on the ones places, they have 0 and 5, this shows that it could be simplified with the times table of 5 here. So finally your answer will become 4 out of 7. So this is the final answer, right? Now let me explain you the second method. In the second method, you can simplify it in the beginning. Let's say you have, I'm taking the same question, 2 out of 5 times 10 out of 7. What can you do now? Now here 5 and 10 both are in the times table of 5. So divide this one by 5. 5 divided by 5 will give us 1. Divide 10 by 5, it will give you 2. So finally, what are you going to get? You will get 2 times 2 is 4 in the numerator, and 7 times 1 is 7 in the denominator. So this shows that if you can do this, you can simplify the final answer by 5, or you can simplify in the beginning and the first step, and in both cases the answer will be the same, right? Let me take some more questions from the exercise. This is question number 8. Now see, I don't have any denominator here. It's only whenever it's a whole number, it's placed in the numerator. So what can we do? We can put 1 under it, right? Just to make it another fraction, we can place 1 under it. Let me fix this one. So this is 5 times 10 out of 1. So 10 times 3 is 30 out of 4. Out of 5, and now it's an improper fraction, so you can place 30 here divided by 5. So what will be your answer? Your answer will be 6. If you want to go with the second method, you can cancel this 5 and 10 with the 5, and finally you will get the answer, right? Your choice. Last question. So question number 9. I have 3 fractions to multiply. you do not have to worry about it because it's all the same method. You have to multiply all the numerators together and then all the denominators together. And if you want to, let's say, simplify something in the beginning, that is also possible here, right? So if I go with the first method in which I have to multiply all the numerators together, so 2 times 7 will be 14, 14 times 10, you know, we only, whenever we are multiplying with tens, hundreds, simply we have to add the same number of zeros in the denominator. 5 times 8 is going to be 40, and let's say what is 40 times 11, 11 times 0 will be 0, and 11 times 4 will be 44. So it's going to be 440. Now remember, if you maybe your teacher, she has already told you in grade 7 and in grade 6, like whenever we have 0 here in the you can say on the right side, on the ones place, the 0 could be cancelled with with this 0, right? So what is left now? 14 over 44 is left. Again, 14 and 44 both are even numbers. This shows that they could be divided, both the numbers could be simplified or divided by 2. So finally our answer will become 7 out of 22. So this is the answer, right? Now if I go with the second method, let's say I want to solve the same question with the second method in which we simplify the fractions in the beginning. How can we simplify? Let's see. Now as you can see here, this 2 and 8 are in the, could be divided by 2. So I will divide 2 by 2, it will give me 1, and I could divide 8 by 2, that will give me 4. Here one denominator is 5 and one numerator is 10. So 5 and 10 could also be simplified with each other. So 5 times 1 is 5 and 5 times 2 is 10. Now I got 2 and 4. So 2 and 4 could also be, you can simplify 2 and 4 by the times table of 2. So 2 divided by 2 will give us 1 and 4 divided by 2 will give us 2. So all the numbers that were that it was possible to simplify them, we have simplified them, right? Now see what is left in the numerator. So this this 2 was crossed. Let me cross it. Okay, so 7 times 1 is 7. Only 7 is left here in the numerator, the rest are 1, so 7 times 1 will be 7. What is left in the denominator? Here we have 1, 2 and 11. So when you multiply 11 by 2, 22, 22 by 1 will be 22. So the method you like, you can go with that method. That's all for this video. It's a very easy exercise. Hope you understand it.